this lesson, we will see the vowel sounds, the consonant sounds, regional variations, word stress, and the alphabet. Let's start with the vowel sound. The first vowel sound is A. A. We can find this sound in words in English like father, father. This same sound is in words in Spanish like agua. Agua is the same sound, father and agua. Let's see the second vowel sound. I. I. We can find this sound in words in English like aisle, aisle, and in words in Spanish like bailar, bailar, which means dancing. The second vowel sound is A. A. We can find this sound in words in English like say, say, and in words in Spanish like seis, seis, which means six. Say, seis is the same sound. Let's see the next one. The next one is E. E, which you can find in words in English like red and words in Spanish like bebé. Red, bebé is the same sound. E, bebé, E. Let's see the next one. E, which is the same sound that you find in words in English like be and words in Spanish like día. Y día, which día means day in Spanish. You pronounce that día, día. Let's see the next one. The next one is O. O. You can find this sound in words in English like hot and word in Spanish like ojo. It's the same sound, hot, ojo, o. You pronounce ojo, ojo, which means eye in English. Let's see the next one. The next one is U. U, which you can find in words in English like moon and words in Spanish like gusto. It's the same sound, U. Moon, gusto. Gusto is the same one. Let's see the next one. The next one is O. O. You can find this sound in words in English like cow and words in Spanish like autobus. Cow, autobus. You pronounce au, au, autobus. Autobus means bus in English. Now let's see the consonant sounds. The first consonant sound is B. B. You can find this sound in words in English like big and words in Spanish like barco. It's the same sound, big, barco, big, barco, barco. The next one is ch, ch. You can find this sound in words in English like chili and words in Spanish like chica. Chili, chica, chica. Chica means girl. Ch, ch. Let's see the next one. The next one is d, d. This sound you can find it in words in English like dog, dog, and words in Spanish like dinero, dinero. Dog, dinero. D, d. That's the sound. Let's see the next one. The next one is this sound. You can find it in words in English like fan, fan, and words in Spanish like fiesta, fiesta. That F sound, fan, fiesta, is the same one, fiesta. The next one is g, g. You can find this sound in words in English like go and words in Spanish like gato. Go and gato is the g sound, gato. Gato means cat. Next one is the sound k, k. You can find this sound in words in English like kick, kick, and words in Spanish like cabeza or queso. It's the same sound, k, k. Kick, cabeza, and queso. By the way, cabeza means head and queso means cheese. Cabeza and queso. The next one is h, h. You can find this sound in words in English like loj and words in Spanish like jardín and gente. Loj, jardín, and gente. Jardín and gente is the same sound. Let's see the next one. The next one is which you can find in words like loud in English and words like lago in Spanish. Lago means lake, so loud, lago, lago. The next consonant sound is mm. You can find these sounds in words like man in English and words like mañana in Spanish. Mañana, men, mañana. Mañana means tomorrow. The next consonant sound is You can find these sounds in words in English like no and words in Spanish like nuevo. Nuevo is the same sound. No, nuevo. No, nuevo. Let's see the next one. The next one is This one is pretty interesting because it's not very common in English. You can find these sounds in words like canyon and in Spanish in words like señora, which means lady. Canyon, señora, señora, señora. It's the same sound. It's important that you learn the sounds that are the same in Spanish than in English. That will help you to pronounce better in Spanish. Let's see the next one. The next one is P. P. You can find this one in words in English like pig, pig, and words in Spanish like padre, padre, which means father. Padre, pig, p, p. That's the sound that we want to make, p. Let's see the next one. The next one is r, r. This one is good. You can find it in words like run, run, and words in Spanish like burro, burro. This sound is particularly difficult for people that speak English because you don't have this sound in English. It's the r sounds, burro, burro. You have to try to put your tongue, roll the tongue back in your mouth. Burro, run, burro, 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 which means donkey. Let's see the next one. The next one is s. You can find these sounds in words like zoo in English and words in Spanish like semana or cinco is the same sound. So, semana, which means week, and cinco, which means 5. Semana and cinco. Let's see the next one. The next one is t. T. You can find this sound in words in English like tin and words in Spanish like tienda. T, t. That's the sound. Tin, tienda. Tienda. Tienda means shop. Let's see the next one. The next one is which you can find in words like win and words in Spanish like guardia. Is the sound. Win, win, the first word in win, and the second word in guardia is like son. Win, guardia, guardia. That's the sound. It's like Let's see the next one. The next one is G. G. That's the sound. G. You can find these sounds in words in English like jam, jam, and words in Spanish like llamada, llamada. Llamada means call. It's the same sound. When you see this double L, you pronounce like J in English. So you pronounce llamada, llamada. These tricks are pretty good because with them, you can easily pronounce Spanish with the sound that you already know in English. Now let's see some regional variations. In some coast regions like the Caribbean and Pacific, letter S is reduced to a slightly hey sound at the end of a syllable or a word. So the word, for example, tos, which means cough, it becomes to. Also, confusion between the sounds R can happen because it becomes like L in these parts of Colombia. For example, with the word verde, which means green, instead of saying verde, you can hear the word verde, verde. We grammatically write them verde, but you can find that in some regions they pronounce verde. Now let's talk about word stress. Colombian Spanish has stress. This means you emphasize one syllable in a word over another. Rule of thumb: when a word ends in N, S, or vowel, the stress falls on the second last syllable. Otherwise, the last syllable is stressed. If you have an accent mark over a syllable, it cancels all of these rules and you just stress the syllable instead. For example, corazón, in this case, it has the accent in the last syllable. The same with después. Después has the accent at the end. And café has the accent at the end. Café means coffee, by the way. Now let's see the alphabet. The relationship between Spanish sounds and their spelling is quite straightforward and consistent. The first letter is A. A. Then we have B. B, also called B larga. Then we have C. C. Then D. D. After D, we have E. E. Then we have F. F. G. G. H. H. I. I. J. J. K. K. L. L. M. M. N. N. Ñ. Ñ. O. O. P. P. Q. Q, R, R, S, S, T, T, U, U, B, or is also called B corta, W, W, X, X, Y, or is also called Y, Y, or Y, and the last one is Z, Z. Good job. Let's do it quickly. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, y Z. Good job, good job. Let's talk a little bit about the spellbound. The first spellbound is with the letter C, C in Spanish. So before E or I is pronounced as the S in so, and before A, O, and U is pronounced as K in kick. Let's see some examples. With the word cerveza, which means beer, cerveza, C is pronounced like S in so, because after C you can see the E, so it sounds like cerveza. Same with cita. After C you can see an I, so it's pronounced like S in so you say cita. With the word carro, corto, and cubo, after C you can see the A, O, and U, so C is pronounced like K in kick. We say carro, corto, and cubo. Carro means car, corto means short, and cubo means cube. Another spellbound is with the letter G, G in Spanish. So with this letter, before E or I is pronounced as the H in hello, and before A, O, and U is pronounced as G in go. Let's see some examples. With the word gente. Gente has E after G, so it sounds like H. We say gente, gente. The same for gitano. We say gitano because I comes after G, so you pronounce like H, gitano. And for words like gato, gordo, and guante, you pronounce G like G in go. We say gato, gordo, and guante. Gente means people, gato means cat, gordo means fat, and guante means glove. Let's see the next spellbound. Sometimes you can find that G is followed by U, and after U you can see E and I. So how do you pronounce this? As the G in go, for example, with the word guerra. We pronounce this word guerra because the U doesn't have the two dots. The same with guinda. But when it has the two dots, we need to pronounce G and U. We say whiskey. The next one is with the letter H, so we never pronounce H in Spanish. For example, with the word haber, haber. We don't say haber, we say haber because we don't pronounce H in Spanish. So when we see H in Spanish, never pronounce that letter, just ignore it. The next spellbound is with J or J in Spanish. So we pronounce J as H in hello. An example is jardín, garden in English. So we pronounce this word jardín. Just change that sound at the beginning for a H sound, the same sound that you use for hello. So you should say jardín, jardín. The next spellbound is with double L or elle, also called like that in Spanish. We generally pronounce like J in jam. It's like J, J. For example, with llave, llave has double L at the beginning, so we say llave. Llave means keys. Llave, llave. Pronounce it just like J in English. The next one is the letter ñ. Is that letter that has a line on top. It's like an N with a line on top. You pronounce this letter like the word canyon. So we pronounce like canyon. An example in Spanish is the word niño, which means boy. Niño, niño. The next spellbound is the letter Q followed by U. So for this combination, we need to pronounce this as the K in kick. The U is never pronounced. So an example is 15. It has Q, U, and I, and we pronounce that single syllable like ki, ki, 15, 15. The next spellbound is with set or zeta in Spanish. We just pronounce that letter as you pronounce S in soup. An example is the word zorro. Zorro. Zorro starts with Z, with zeta, and it's pronounced zorro, zorro.